So I recently bought the Smith& Wesson Performance Center Core, the 5-inch model with the ports right here, as you can see. Saw this used at Bass Pro about a month ago, and I really wanted it. It's for a pretty good price, and it also came with the pre-installed Apex shooter. And I actually have heard about, like, I've been aware of like the Apex shooters. I never, I myself have never actually thought about getting one. I thought that the factory triggers and the Smith and Wessons had already improved among themselves, and also I don't shoot a lot of competition. And so for me, it's more as a range gun and also a carry gun. I found just the stock trigger to be just fine. But I wasn't gonna complain when it came with an Apex trigger. And it is absolutely solid. When people were saying that they really, I mean, just yeah, it's a game changer. But what I liked about it was the 5 inch. Generally you can only find the 5 inch in the tan model. Um, the rest, like the other 5 inch, it's just standard model is usually LEO. However, I was able to find this one, and they discontinued this model. This is the Performance Center Core, as I mentioned in the beginning. And they stopped making this one, unfortunately. However, you will find they are still around. And they are great guns. When I took this to the range, I shot it. It's actually on my channel if you want to go check it out. Um, this thing is a solid shooter. It's loud. I think that's the one thing what you expect from a ported gun. But also, it really helps soften up the recoil. The recoil on the Smith& Wesson is already very soft, I would say, compared to a lot of other guns. And they're already very enjoyable to shoot. But once you port it, kind of capitalize on that soft recoil impulse, it just improves even more. It's not necessary. Like I can just put a standard 5 inch barrel in here, and it will shoot just fine. Um, Another thing that I really like about this one specifically is that the last user he had he or she had custom stippling done here near the gas pedal and right up here on the beaver tail. As you can see, that is aftermarket. You're not going to see that on the factory MMPs. Um, and I put the Surefire. There's my Surefire X200 Ultra on it. I put that on there, and I put the weight more on the front, and just even better. I really like the suppressor height sights or the co-witness sights or however you would say it. At first I didn't like them, but then when I started shooting with them more, I actually found it to be easier to catch, especially when I'm drawing. I can grab that. I can grab those sights a lot easier. Um, Another thing though I don't really like, and this is just personal, is that manual safety. It's nice to have, I guess, for some people, but I'm probably going to remove it. But again, it doesn't bother me that much. It's very easy to actuate. It's nothing super weird. It's like a 1911 safety. It's great. Um, and then it only came in one magazine, which was like, okay. I have several other MMPs, so that wasn't really much of an issue. In terms of feeding the ammo, I fed some Monarch ammo, basically Academy Sports brand of Arms Corps. And then I shot some Winchester, and I shot some Blazer Brass, Federal, and also I fed my defensive ammo, which is the 124 SIG V Crowns. Ran all of it just fine, absolutely no malfunctions, and that's one thing that I was slightly concerned about. Was that if it was used, maybe it started having some issues. I have no idea how many shots was put through this barrel or this gun. I mean the barrel looks fine. I actually did clean it. It gets really dirty fast again, but I did shoot some Winchester, and Winchester generally is dirty in itself. But clean it off. The barrel looks fine. It was very accurate. Still, I mean, I was shooting up to around almost 25, 30 yards, and it shot fine and very accurate. Um, and so for me, basically, this video was just kind of giving first impressions, especially on this gun. And I feel like YouTube doesn't really. I mean, the people on YouTube really just don't seem to give the MMPs a lot of love. If you look up the MMPs, generally, it's like there are reviews around, but really, like you don't see a lot of people actually talking about it in the public eye. I think that the MMP models, the 1.0s had issues, especially like accuracy and stuff, and I think that's kind of what may have like left a bitter taste in a lot of people's mouths about the MMP models. And so when the 2.0s came out, no one really kind of went back. They went back to the Glocks or their SIGs or their other whatever the guns they want. But for me, I was fairly when I was fairly new. I mean, I was 8. When I turned 17, 18, I kind of was looking at Smith and Wesson, but I wasn't really aware of why people didn't like it, especially because of the 1.0s. I was kind of sticking to the current models, which is the 2.0s already came out by like 2017, and so I already liked them, but I didn't really think about like why other people didn't. I just liked them. I never had issues with them. My first gun was the Smith Wesson Shield, um, and I really liked that one. Never had problems. And so Smith Wesson kind of stuck with me. Now I know the history, and now I understand why some people don't like them. But for me, as someone who is a big Smith Wesson guy, I will say that you should definitely try shoot this one or an MMP if you can, um, especially if you have shot the 1.0s. You didn't like how it felt, especially the stippling. The stippling was very much lacking on the first gens, um, but especially with the accuracy and issues like that, Smith and Wesson definitely fixed those issues. Especially for like this is my standard 425. This is actually the one I generally carry. It's a little bit more simple, of course. But I do carry with the Surefire on this one. I don't carry iron with or not irons. I don't carry with a dot yet. I am planning on it. And again, this trigger stock. I mean, this thing is bone stock. There's nothing super special about it except that it is reliable. And it looks pretty, on its own right. Um, and accurate. I've never had any issues with accuracy or reliability or anything like it. Or any hardware issues, no pins rolling out or anything like that. But going back to this one, this is a discontinued model, and so generally it's not going to be in the spotlight in the public's eye, really. But if you do see one of these lying around, I would highly recommend trying to shoot it, especially if you feel like a competition gun. I know that Hunter Constantine shoots this one fairly often, and he really likes it. If you want someone who has a little more credibility behind his name and skill, but for me, as just an average consumer and as an average Smith and Wesson enjoyer, this is one of my favorite guns to shoot. And yes, I do occasionally carry this, especially um, when it's like coldish or if I just kind of going somewhere like in a big place where there's a lot of people. Generally, I want to be a little bit more equipped if something ever happens, especially in a public space. And so I do sometimes carry this in this configuration with my holster under my coat or jacket or whatever. Runs held the points very very well. And then again it's just loud. But so if you are concerned about how loud it is, that is one thing to be note. However, when it comes to the recoil control, and also in a life or death situation, generally noise is kind of going to be your last thing you're thinking about. But yeah, that is kind of my first impressions on this gun. Even though this is even though it's sort of irrelevant these days, I think that this deserves a place in the spot of the lineups of the other MMPs, like the 425, like the Shield Plus, and also the competitor. Yeah, if you have one of these, let me know what you think about it. If you had any issues, maybe, or some positive um, experiences experiences with this gun. I really love it. I'm gonna put this in my rotation. I am actually planning on getting a dot for this. So once I shoot it with a dot, I'm gonna come back and tell you about how I feel about it. But yeah, that is the Smith and Wesson M&P 2.0 Performance Center 4.